Man, it's good to see you. Like, I saw you recently.
Yep.
Good to see you again. Always
Yes,
good to have you here, Ryan Hall. So to get started, I thought we would like just a little thing to kind of warm us up to the actual interview. So this isn't the actual interview. This might.
Are y'all nervous? This is nervous as
I'm nervous.
pretty
I'm
nervous.
ready.
This might.
ready.
I might post. This will probably be posted, but this isn't the actual interview, so no pressure. I'll do this for all three of you. So
Okay.
Ashley Leggenzoff, our supervising producer for Oak Mountain Media.
Give it up, everybody. Give it up.
Executive producer. Sorry. Sorry, you've been demoted.
Oh, okay.
Olivia
That's fair,
Barnado,
that's fair.
supervising producer for Oak Mountain Media, and then Ryan Hall, who, and we're going to talk about this today, but like founded Oak Mountain Media. So
The old guy.
Whenever I say founded, it makes me think found, like you discovered it, but you didn't. Anyway,
This was
You wa-
actually
this
already
is-
here.
this
You
is-
walked into the
Right.
classroom and was like, oh,
okay,
this is
so
it.
here we go. First thing that comes to mind, I'm going to say a word, and you just tell me the very first thing. Quick, don't think about it. Just first thing that comes to your mind.
This is
I hope that these are all appropriate things that you say, since this is a high school channel. So keep that in mind. All right, first thing that comes to mind. We'll just go around the circle. We'll go this way, and then we'll come back. Okay, so fast food.
Jack Brown's.
McDonald's.
Zaxby's.
Chick-fil-A would be mine. I shouldn't have one because I've written these down. Never mind. I won't have one. Okay,
Oh,
we'll
okay.
cut
Cheating.
that part out. All right.
Yeah,
We'll cut that
Okay.
out.
All right. Here's the next word. Easy.
School.
School. That was the first thing.
Writing.
Writing. Very cool. All right. Next one. Movie.
Oh, Hunger Games. I don't know why that.
La La Land.
Spider-Man.
Okay. Interesting.
Interesting.
First word. Family.
Mom.
Mom.
Dad.
Wow.
Gotta be the
Wow.
Gotta be the outlier.
For yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mom.
probably.
Mom's gonna watch this
Yes,
too.
she
like,
is.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hope you're good with your answer. All right. Next one. Breakfast.
Oh, eggs.
Pancakes.
Bacon. I'm
That-
a vegetarian.
that would be-
That's
that would be a
crazy.
good
We're meant
combination.
to be.
I'm
Oh
a
my.
vegetarian. That is crazy that I just said bacon.
You did say bacon. Maybe
did
there's
say
like some
bacon.
deep, like you need to like examine.
Some like resentment for
yeah, you're
myself.
like, yeah. Okay. All right. Next word. Difficult.
Math.
School.
Thinking.
Thinking. So interesting. You said writing was easy. Thinking is difficult. I'm concerned. You also said school was difficult and easy. Again.
Depends.
Depends. Okay. All right.
It's on the
Next
day.
one. All right. This is a good one. All right.
no.
Leadership.
John Milton.
Oak Mountain Media.
John C. Maxwell.
I was thinking.
That's the right answer.
I was thinking John Maxwell. I appreciate you putting me on a pedestal there, but yes, I was thinking John Maxwell. But that's good. Okay. All right. All right. Music.
One Direction.
Lana Del Rey.
Justin Bieber.
I don't know why that came to my head. I do not listen to
This
Lana
game
Del
is
Rey.
so
Yeah.
strange. Like
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
learning
this
a
is
lot
bad.
about myself
All
right
right,
now.
there you go. I know. All right, we have two more. Okay, all right. Here we go. Auburn.
Tigers.
Football.
War Eagle.
Okay, there you go. All right, last one. This will
That's
be
the right
interesting.
answer.
We'll see.
Oh,
We'll see
no.
what this one is. Okay, last one. Ryan Hall.
Oh no.
A suit.
Leadership.
Goober.
Okay. All right, really cool. All right, well, good. Give yourselves a hand. Good job. Good job. Y'all did really well.
Give it up,
Okay.
everybody. Give it up.
So Ryan, you are, you're back here. You've had a long, illustrious career in school, all throughout. Went through the Oak Mountain school system. Now, have you been in Oak Mountain school system your whole time? Like, I know you went to Oak Mountain Elementary, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but
Yep.
you've always lived here, right?
Correct. So I moved here from Georgia in third grade. So
Okay. I knew you weren't always here. So Georgia, what part of Georgia?
it was kind of like Atlanta area.
Okay.
So it was like Woodstock kind of, and then kind of moved around a little bit, but
Awesome.
it's good. Yep.
So do you remember a lot of your time in Georgia? Like, do you have any memories from like that time pre-third grade in Georgia?
Very, very little. Me and my sister, I feel like we always think about things in songs. I don't know why. Voice crack. Clearly that hasn't gone away.
Yeah.
So wait for that later time. But yeah, just like, you'll hear an old song come on, like that's the Georgia song, But yeah, that's I feel like this has definitely been a good time over here though.
Yeah.
Definitely wouldn't trade it for anything.
When you
so.
think of home, you think of Alabama.
Oh yes.
Not Georgia.
I rep Birmingham. Absolutely. Yep.
Very
So-
cool. So, all right. So what's your, going back, I was thinking about this the other day as have gotten much older now. And I know it doesn't seem like that, but what's your if I said, what is your earliest memory ever? Now, my own kids tell me like they remember when they were like 1, which is a complete lie, right? Because you can't remember that. But like, what's your earliest childhood memory? Like, do you have anything that stands out where you're just like, I remember this this time or this event?
Earliest, I guess it would be like, that's a very interesting question. I think like riding around in my driveway in one of those, like, I don't know what you call them. It's like the red like car.
I know what you're talking about. It has like the Flintstones, yeah.
Yeah.
Or you pedal the pedal car, yeah.
Yep. That's probably as early as I can go. I
Yeah.
think. And then, yeah, just running around baseball.
That's young. That's like 3-4 years old, you know, because once you get like 5, 6, I mean, you get too big for that car.
Right. Yeah. So I guess I got it. I still got it then.
Little league, so you played like T-ball and you did all that?
I did play T-ball. And then, you know, as I moved through school, I kind of got ambivalent. You know, when you're bad at everything, you really jump around. So I played, now tennis, I'm pretty good at tennis,
Yeah.
I will say. But I know, you know, like I played football my junior year of high school.
Yep.
Like never played it before ever. And I just guess I just got hit in the head and I wanted to play it for the first time. And so I went walking in there in that locker room. I'm like, all right, guys. So like, when are, you know, we made it work though. I made all my conditioning times except for the last one in the summer. So
I do remember that. I mean, we'll get to that, like, because that was kind of a pivotal time in your life, and that kind of led to some of this, which we'll talk about. So that's early memories. And then of course you come here. You're at Oak Mountain. Did you go to Oak Mountain Elementary? Or did you go right to the intermediate school?
went to Oak Mountain Elementary 1 year, and then intermediate.
Okay.
So
what was what's a memory from intermediate school? Like, do you have something that stands out to you, or a class or a teacher, or just something you did that 4th and 5th grade year?
Well, my teachers, I remember I had Miss Anderson, Miss Harrison, because then they do like the swap thing or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Renfro,
Yes,
I think.
love Mr.
And I know
Renfro.
that some of these, they've moved around either to middle school or something like that. But it's very odd because I feel like the way Oak Mountain goes, and maybe it's just for any school, but like I feel like you can keep up pretty well with your people through the years. Like even if it's like not your closest friend, like everyone, like Oak Mountain is just the way it is, the school spirit, everything is like now, I think now that I've graduated and everything, like I'm running into people, like now they're running into my sister, like on her job, like Riley Lehman, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're seeing this at home, but
Yes. Shout out to Riley. She was
shout out.
studio ops
Yep.
way back in the day.
Yep. And so my sister was on the unit at Children's. She's she's a nurse, long story short, but now she's a nurse educator. She got promoted. But long story short, Riley was precepting or like doing her little internship rotation on the unit, and they just ran into each other. So it's just kind of crazy. I think Oak Mountain is like very far and wide.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really go too far without seeing somebody that you know.
It's
So-
it's a small world for sure. So, and yeah, you mentioned family. You've got Haley, older sister. Now is she 2-3 years older, 4 years older? How old? She's older.
Older.
But how much?
3 years
Okay.
older than me. Yes. At this very point.
At
I
this
won't try to do
junction.
that.
So you guys were in
Hard to
high
think.
school together for what, 1 year or 2 years?
Actually, we weren't. So and it's weird because she's 3 years older than me, age-wise, but then 4 years by school.
I got you.
I
So
think.
when she graduated, that would have been when you came in as a freshman.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
I
it's
recall.
like I just like even when she graduated from Auburn, like the week later, I moved in.
Yeah.
And we always talked about how it would have been nice to, have that little time together in school. Probably would have made my life a little bit easier. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, so you go to intermediate school, kind of in the Oak Mountain area for a couple of years, kind of getting your feet wet, learning the ropes, and then you get to middle school, which is a big transition for everybody. Especially, I have a similar story to yours because I came to the Oak Mountain system in 3rd grade as well. So there was not an intermediate school at that time. So elementary school was just all the way through 5th grade. But really just a couple of years before middle school, so I was still pretty new
Right.
to Oak Mountain when I started middle school, as were you. So what are some memories you have from your middle school years?
I really think just running around with my head cut off. I mean, I think like everybody does. I mean, I got involved with SGA in middle school.
Now, did you do that in the start, like 6th grade, started in SGA?
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
6th grade. And I can't remember all the details correctly, but I think like 7th grade, I was like the reporter. I think that was back, weirdly enough, this definitely makes me, I mean, I'm only 22. I know I'm not that old, but I'm just saying. It's like when Instagram was really like at its peak. Or no, I mean, it's still at its peak now. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Yes.
But they don't even have like the carousels. Like, you know, how you can post those now. And so one of the ideas that we had was to start an Instagram account, OMMS SGA account. And so what I would do is just go around and take photos of everybody at the pep rallies. And it's kind of funny to think about now because I would take probably like 50, 75 photos of just, you know, just people in the crowds, like trying to get everybody hyped up. And instead of putting them all in a carousel, I would just post them one after one.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so,
Yeah.
but people, like, they didn't mind because, like, if they saw them, so, you know, so people would just be scrolling and scrolling and
Yeah.
scrolling. So it's weird to think about how everything has changed.
You
but
were a content creator as a sixth grader. You didn't even know.
I don't, you just gave me a camera and they just, Miss Polizos, who's the
Yeah,
SGA.
that's right. She was the head of
shout out.
SGA.
Yep.
Ashley Polizos, who's now an assistant principal,
Yep.
the 12 months assistant principal at
Yep.
Oak Mountain High School.
Yep,
She
so-
did SGA.
As well as broadcast. So,
Okay.
And I was also going to absolutely make sure I mention that I first got into broadcasting 7th grade.
Okay.
So she was in charge of that program, and that kind of started the, you know, I guess like the creative thinking and really like thinking about what looks correct. And like I remember and Adrian Cooley, I don't know if you're
I remember Adrian,
If you-
yeah, because she was in student government as well. Yeah. Mhm.
But I remember very vividly that we had a skit on there that we called, it was like Friday Night Live or something. You know, I was really
Yeah.
caught up with SNL for some reason. And it was kind of like a weekend update kind of thing. So we went on there and we would have like, you know, Miss Nikki Turpin. I don't know if any of y'all
Love
have her.
Miss Turpin.
Love
Yes.
Miss
You know,
Turpin.
she's awesome. But yeah, so that's, I guess that kind of is I'm not trying to ramble here, but that kind of is the culmination of what I remember from middle school and then just like continuing with SGA and stuff.
Student government, broadcasting, and then that led you to your high school years. A lot of stuff. I mean, I remember a lot of high school stuff. So I remember I was the SG advisor here, coming down to Oak Mountain Middle School when you were an 8th grader. That's the first time that I met you, right?
Yes, sir.
First time we met,
Yes, we did.
and you were just excited about doing student government. I don't remember. Were you a class president your freshman year? Did you do that, or was that
Yes, sir.
you did like
Yes,
class
sir.
president? I think 2 years, class president freshman, sophomore year, and then you were treasurer maybe your junior year or something. SGA treasurer.
I think
You
it
did
was
something
just-
on SGA, I think, like an executive position.
Yes, sir. I think it was just
Yeah.
like class president.
So,
All the way through?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
so did you set your sights on being SGA president early on?
So honestly, looking back on it now, I think that obviously SGA in high school looks a lot different than middle school. And I know like it's like a group of us, like me, Hannah Kelly, like I think about that whole crew, even being in business. It was called Business Essentials at the time. I think I'm not sure what
I think
called
it's
now.
just an SGA class.
SGA
It
class.
may be, I'm not sure.
But I feel like that all kind of led into, it was more of like I'm not trying to say, it's not about the position, you know, like leadership is not about the position, it's about the action, right?
Right.
And the noggin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but no, even at that time, I think it was more like when I thought about like homecoming floats and all of that, I think like being able to just really still cultivate the involvement and everything, I think that was important. So
Yeah.
I think it wasn't like I was just like, you know, I'm gonna run for president and like I'm gonna rule. Like that's not
Yeah.
definitely I don't wouldn't want to say that's the mentality, but I don't know. Like that's my mind, I guess from that. Again, I'm not trying to ramble, I'm not trying to get ahead, but like going to the homecoming floats and, you know, me and Reynolds Jones getting together purchase orders and
Yeah.
Mr. Dunham helping us out. Like, it's just funny. Like, I just think because like, it's so like, I guess like when you're going through that stuff at the time, like, and I mean, I'm so glad that I was able to do that and other people were able to experience it too. But it's just like, what were we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever like look back on like freshman year and you were
Yes.
like, what was,
Oh, yeah.
like, what's
Yes.
going on here?
Oh,
Like, is
yeah.
this real? Like, I don't know.
Now, I will say Ashley we were talking about this morning. She did her freshman year
I was
Oh,
hoping you were
oh.
gonna bring this.
taking TV production. She was just in TV production, and she told me at some point that she wanted to be the executive producer for Oak Mountain Media her senior year. So she's there now,
Give it up.
like, happily
She
so.
made it, guys.
made it.
I did. I set my sights.
So, but you know, in getting back to high school, and you'll have to remind me, were you in that SGA class for 4 years? Did you do that for 4 years?
I was in it for
The business essentials?
Technically, I think it was like 3.5 because football.
That's
I
right.
didn't
Okay.
take.
So football,
So-
and then didn't you come back into it?
Yes,
Football.
sir.
So you did
Like
football.
it's
Yeah.
very odd. I
yeah,
guess.
I remember that.
But no, I was in it for the long haul, man. I
Yeah.
was Brian Hall, long haul.
The long haul. Yeah, lots of good
Oh.
puns.
You know.
Which kind of brings me to the next thing. being Hall In
Hall
with
in.
Ryan Hall.
Hall
So,
in.
so
Hall in with
you,
Ryan Hall.
I mean, we could, and we could, I know I could talk about your time in high school forever. You did so many things, and we're going to get back to, I do want to get to one thing I guess two things in high school. Okay. And then we'll jump into college years and what you're doing now, which is really, really breaking news today on what Ryan Hall has next.
I'm
So
so
that'll be
excited.
how we'll end. Very exciting. That'll be how we'll end.
What's next?
But there's two things I want to get back to in high school. So in high school, the first thing is we mentioned that you founded Oak Mountain Media, and that was really the first year was your senior year. But I want to back up to your junior year because I want you to talk about how the concept started and the idea started, because I have my side of what I recall of how things
Right.
happened, and then I'd love to hear. But I know this was your summer of your junior year, so I'll start off and say summer of your junior year. I remember we had an SGA summer camp, and I remember you coming to me and at that camp, us having a conversation. You saying, "I want to do broadcast." I did it in middle school. We don't have a broadcast. There was no broadcast program at the time in Oak Mountain High School. The space existed. The program had existed, but it had gone away for about 5 or 6 years.
Right.
And you said at camp, "I want to start a broadcast program. How can we make this happen?" And I can't remember the exact advice I gave you, but all right, take it from there.
Okay. And I do think it's funny you bring that up because I think that there's parts that I remember that I forget too. Because, we were riding around in that golf cart. I remember we were, soaking.
golf carts.
Yeah, those golf carts. We should probably share some stories from camp. I want to hear about y'all's experience.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
We have some stories.
But no, I guess we were probably covered in paintballs or something. And I was like, hey, so by the way, I was wondering if I could start, maybe looking. And you're like, dude, come on. But no, you had told me, well, I guess I'll back up. So coming into high school, I don't know. I guess I was just weird. I just still was interested in just having the hunger to create something, I guess. And I'm not talking about the program. I'm talking about just videos and just that stuff in general. And so I always I don't know why they don't have a broadcast program. I wish that they would have one. And so finally junior year rolled around, just like Mr. Milton said. And I asked you, and so you had advised me to basically, get an interest group going. And so I think we had carried that conversation into the following year. Because in the midst of those conversations, there was also the homecoming video. I'm not sure if you recall.
I do, yes.
But I wanted to do a homecoming documentary, just
Really?
to
That
capture
sounds really
everything.
interesting.
Yeah, that does sound really interesting.
And so I ran around with my head cut off the whole week. I was going from all the floats to, because, and of course I don't know what it's like now. But remembering it, I know is extremely competitive. You
It
got
still is.
think about
Oh, yes.
Emily Rush, all these people.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Adamson. But you'd be sitting out there with a float. It'd be 1 a.m. Then you start see eggs flying in the air or something. It's just so much fun. But captured that, put that together, and I think that kind of was a foundation for, I guess, what the program would kind of turn into. So I know that was kind of a tangent. Going back, you had told me to get together an interest group. And so I literally think I just group me fired on everybody.
Really?
The worst thing you can imagine. I threw a whole bunch of people in a group me. And I was like, by the way, broadcast class, gonna get something together. So, and people showed up. They showed up. And I remember I have a distinct memory of, I think it was the second meeting. I don't even know what we were talking, what are we talking about? I don't know. You're just standing in there, everybody's just hearing me ramble, I guess. But you peeked your head and you were like, oh, there was a lot of interest in it. Because I think when you market it not your stereotypical, what's the lunch this week? People want to know that, you got to include all that. But also just such a different perspective on storytelling and all that involves. So I literally had, I think I passed a sheet around and I had if this class were a thing, I would do it. This is what you told me to do. Had everybody sign it. I think I had 20 to 30 signatures. And you told me to set up a meeting with Dr. Sayers at the time. So I went in there, little old me, and I sat down and I was like,
Set it across the table.
I got to do. No, and she she was nice about it. She was like, yeah, if this many people are interested, then we'll get into it and we'll see what it involves. Because even at that time also, you didn't know you were going to be the sponsor. I'm pretty sure you looked at me and you were like, that'd be nice. Like, but I really don't know. Like, that's going to involve a whole lot of like classroom moving. Like, that's just going to be crazy. And we just kind of kept on going at it, and I think it just kind of we ran with it from there.
Well,
So-
I'll tell the other side from jumping from there. So I remember all of what you said, absolutely. And I remember I told you, I said, after you have that meeting with Dr. Sayers, come and let me know. And so then after that, I went into her office and I said, hey, Ryan has talked about this, broadcast program. And by the way, I really wanted to do the broadcast. I was like,
Really?
this would be my dream job. I love this. Don't have any kind of certification or degree. Just kind of like you, just like to tell stories, like it as a hobby, enjoy all this kind of stuff. And so I knew that if you got this together, I felt like I could go in and kind of talk my way into it. So I went into Dr. Sayers' office and we talked, and I said, I would be willing to take this on if you need somebody.
I guess.
Yeah,
I can do it.
And I'd be willing. I know it'll be a lot of work, and I'd be willing. And of course, on the inside, I'm like, yes, please let me have this. And she said, yeah. I mean, to her credit, she said, yeah, we're going to do it. One thing I will say is that anytime there was student interest in something, she would make it happen, and it was always about if there's enough students that want to do it, we'll make it happen. So that was that. Then that started. Then we had the. We don't have to get into the move. The studio's undergone a lot of changes. We came in here. We literally tore things out. I mean, you and Tyler Nolan like literally built walls that then we tore down. And and if you go back and watch the old YouTube videos, you can see all the set changes and all that. But what was really cool is that was all you guys putting that together. So we started Oak Mountain Media your senior year, a crazy senior year because you have three things that stand out to me about your senior year. Number one, you're the SGA president. So you're now running that massive program, all the things that takes. You also are the executive producer for a brand new Oak Mountain Media program that we're figuring out daily, like what to do, how to do it, how to run it, right? And then the third major thing is, at the end of the year, towards the end of the year, we're talking about, you said as my last interview is going to be me and Mr. Milton. I'm going to interview Mr. Milton. And that interview never happened because on March 12th of 2020, that evening,
The day.
that evening, we were at our SGA banquet.
Really?
Weird.
Wow.
The timing
And-
of all of that, yeah.
And I was in line to get whatever food we had. And I heard some parents saying, looking on their phones and saying, they just shut down Disney World. And I knew that this COVID thing might actually be serious at that time. And then I think it was maybe the next day, because that was a Thursday night. We were out of school that Friday. It was like a teacher work day or something. And then we didn't come back to school Monday. And then it was like, hey, we'll be out this week. And then that week turned into, COVID. And so we never got to do that interview. That's kind of how your senior year ended. And then, of course, we have COVID the next year. And it's just all of this craziness. And then transitioning through that's your senior year. Now you go into college at Auburn, and you're starting at Auburn University with COVID and all the, and again, we don't have to get into all the how classes were done and how things were different. But I want you to talk a little bit about some of the memorable experiences you have at Auburn University, because I know you did a lot of media stuff, a lot of leadership stuff, and I want to make sure we have time to get to what you're doing, the big news for Ryan Hall. Which when you told me this morning, I was like, okay, this gives me like an ending, right? I knew how I was going to start the
Now
interview.
he can interview you.
Now this wraps things up. So just what are some highlights from being at Auburn?
Wow. Well, first of all, I'll say this is a pretty surreal experience because this is I don't know. So I graduated in December, semester early. And I don't know. This is my first time, I guess, not my first time reflecting on it all, but I have been extremely blessed. Obviously throughout my entire life, just with the different opportunities that I've gotten to do. And I guess the things that really have just kind of laid themselves along my path. I guess I'll give kind of an overview. Just like at Auburn, I was part of Lambda Chi, a fraternity. I was involved at SGA. I was an SGA senator. I was able to be a part of the University Program Council, which is the organization that is in charge of basically making events. And that was, I think, one of my favorite things to do, because again, I think there's such a creative aspect with it. So that team, one of the things we did is created a new event called the Magnolia Ball, and I think we may have talked about it previously.
We did, yeah.
But that was basically a formal for students who are not really involved in Greek life. I think that there's sometimes in different environments, like there's things that are gate kept unnecessarily
Yeah.
from other students, like just where you feel unincluded or like uninvolved. And that event saw like 400 and something students the first time. And so many people were so excited about it, still going on now. So that was really cool to build that as a team. I'm trying to think about like just really the highlights. I mean, that's such like a hard thing to. Is there something in particular? I guess.
Well,
that
I'll
that I don't want to waste time.
No, you're good. I don't want the bell to get us here, but I want to. I'll fast forward to this because I do want to get to the big news today. All right, you very successful in leadership, did a lot of things at Auburn in SGA with the Senate. Just media stuff on the side, continuing to kind of be part of that creative. Have that creative side to you. You get to your senior year, and you are running for SGA president of the whole school. Big deal. I was fortunate enough to get to come and meet your group and everybody, and still got the shirt Hall in, right?
Hall in.
That was
I
the
still follow
slogan.
the Instagram.
And it was a very, 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 very close election, and you did not win.
Yep.
And I know that was disappointing, and you and I had talked about that. But that opened up an opportunity for you that summer of you going into your senior year to do an internship in Washington, D.C., right?
Wow.
Which
Yes.
you met and you got to have a lot of exciting things. And again, to make sure that we fit this in because we're close on time here. You finish your senior year, you ups and downs, right? Disappointments, excitements. Yep. You graduate in December. You're back home now, looking for jobs, looking for putting feelers out there for what can you do next. And today, right? Like, was it this morning or was it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday, you get a job offer for, and I'm going to let you tell like what you're
On the
now.
edge
This
of my
is
seat.
I'm
career.
so excited.
Your new position starting when?
Monday. hopefully.
Starting Monday,
Depending
you
on-
are going
yep.
to be.
So I guess, again, I'm not going to ramble, but, well, I'll just go ahead and say it. So I'm going to be the state capitol reporter for CBS 42.
Wow.
And a couple other affiliate stations across the state. So
Wow.
based in Montgomery, covering the legislature, the governor, and all the politics of the state. And I think that, of course, and I'm very grateful you've been there for pretty much every step along the journey. But it's weird to see your experience and everything kind of come to a point. Because I
Yeah.
think that, I don't know, like the biggest thing for me, I guess, is like, obviously there's challenges. Like when you start like job searching, you start going after it, like, and I mean, I've been able to talk to really cool opportunities and to, other cool areas, but it's like, at the end of the day, I think the biggest lesson that I've learned is like, there's a place for you. Like, and I'm not trying to make it deep here, but like God has prepared a place for you, like wherever you're headed. Like, and I think that's been evident through my college time, even here, and even in what I'm about to walk into. Like, I'm still kind of letting it sink in. But it's like crazy stories to tell. I mean, they're not just stories, like it literally is like a testimony, I think, to just the way that he's worked, I guess, in my life. So, and even with this opportunity, it's definitely been you got to be patient and like really try to be intentional and not, because you start getting some no's, it can get a little challenging. But I don't know, like I'm just incredibly excited and it's weird, like this whole like today that's like this weird little experience.
It's crazy,
So-
and it's real coming back and getting to do that. And well, I can definitely say that Ryan Hall is not a goober, right? Going back to the beginning.
Well,
So,
yeah.
I mean, it is just it's good to call you friend, and it's awesome to have seen you in high school and college and now going into this next thing. So definitely we'll be looking out for Ryan Hall on CBS 42.
Yes.
We
And
sure
hey,
will.
what an interesting and exciting time in a big election year to get involved
Yeah.
in reporting on some really big things happening in politics, in our state and in our nation. So Very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming in today,
Thank you so
man.
much,
Thank
Ryan.
you.
That was
This is
great. I'm so
awesome.
excited for you.
Thank you
great.
for letting me put you through that. I know that's it's like, I get to rambling, but thank y'all for having me. And this is crazy. It's always good to be here. So
Absolutely. Well, good job, man. That was cool. So interesting.